Okay, so in this part of the tutorial we're going to build the house, and I'm going to use ArchiCAD in this case, but you may use any other software. So first I'm going to go to File, Open, and then Open. I'm going to use my floor plan and click on Don't Save. And I'm going to also select all the layers, hit OK, and do not change. Now I'm going to select my ruler just to make sure that it's been brought in a scale. So this is 151, that's going to be in millimeters. So let me check the units. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to go to File, New, and launch a new instance of ArchiCAD. Okay, now I select all my elements in this file and go edit, copy, and I'm gonna bring the new ArchiCAD file, delete all these elevations, and go edit and paste. You may paste it wherever you want, so I'm gonna go paste, and I'm also gonna move it just to be near the origin. Okay, so this should be fine. Let me change the working units to centimeters, so that's a little bit easier to work with. And I grab my wall. Make sure that its height is set to 350 and its thickness to 15. And I start to draw the wall from this point. And by the way, if you have earlier versions or rather later versions of ArchiCAD, you have different kind of features here. You may also need to change your wall settings, so you would be then able to change this thickness. Okay, so I'm gonna select this one and start to draw again. Since I'm not gonna see this part which is outside of the building, I'm not gonna draw that one. Okay, I guess up to here. Then I need to change the thickness to probably 20. Okay, that is 23, so let's go 23. Then from here I'm gonna set it back to 15 and continue the wall. Okay. Then I'm gonna start from here and probably go to here, and let's bring it down. Okay. Now let's start this part. I'm gonna hit backspace to undo the last move and bring it up to here. Again backspace, and lastly here. So now let's go to perspective view to see what we have done. Okay, this is fine. Now I'm gonna select all of this plan, that is the first floor plan, then go edit cut. I'm gonna also turn on the trace and set the reference to be the previous story. Go to first story and press Ctrl V. I'm gonna put it aside just a second, and I need to change the story settings. So for the first one, that's gonna be 350, and I'm also gonna set the second layer or the second floor to be 350. Okay, now I'm gonna go to ground floor, so I have the plan. Now let's go back to first story, and I'm gonna select all of the drawing, press Ctrl D to enable the move mode, and just place it right here. So this should be fine. Now I'm gonna disable the trace and start tracing the walls using the wall element, and I'll start tracing from this corner. Again, I'm not worried about the thickness of this one since I'm not gonna see it from the outside, so we should be fine. I could also copy paste some of the walls from the previous story, but it's okay. It's not gonna take that much time to draw the walls. Okay, I guess we go up to here, then bring it down to probably here. Even though this part of the house will never be seen. Okay, now let me check the ground floor. I'm not really sure about what's gonna happen to this one, this stair here. Okay, now let's create a closed volume from which we may see some part of it from the camera view. So I'm gonna bring it here and close it here. Okay, now let's go to perspective view. Yeah, we have a closed volume, so everything should be fine. Now let's go creating the floor and the ceiling. So I'm gonna go to ground floor and select my slab. That is -30 to 0, which is fine. So I'm gonna trace all along the walls that I have drawn. Okay, now let's check it from the perspective view. So everything is fine. I guess we can copy paste this one for the ceiling, or rather the floor of the first floor. Okay, so I'm gonna go to ground floor, select my slab, press Ctrl C to copy, and I go to first floor, press Ctrl V to paste. Keep the current view and original location, paste it here. So apparently I have to bring it down, so I go Ctrl D and just bring it here. Click off this marquee. So let's go to perspective. Okay, now I'm gonna bring down the thickness of the ceiling to probably only 10 centimeters. So that would be 340. Okay, so I guess we have to move some of the wall elements since we do not have a very exact plan, so they're not really matching up. Even though again this part of the building is not going to be seen. Okay, now let's go to first story, and I select my slab. Make sure that the slab is inside of the building. So I'm gonna select on this icon and bring the whole thing inside. I guess in newer versions of ArchiCAD you have to define where this slab is gonna be shown. I mean where this slab belongs to, which story. So then you can edit it from your first floor. Okay, I'm gonna bring this one up to here. And let's break this one and bring it here. Alright, then I'm gonna select this one and bring it here. Okay, then I'm gonna also bring this part inside. Again, it's not gonna make any difference since we're not gonna see the outside, but I'm just trying to do it the right way. So let's continue bringing the slab inside. Okay, so now let's check it in perspective. I missed this part, so I'm gonna fix it. And we also need to remove this part from the top of the stair. So I'm gonna select my slab, and also I'm gonna select my slab element or a slab tool and just draw a box like so. Let's go this one. Okay, then I'm gonna bring back some of its part to here. Great. Yeah, I guess we do not need to have this part be like this, so I'm gonna edit this one in perspective mode, bring this one here, select this one and bring it here. Now I'm gonna select a point here and bring it here. I'm gonna now fix it in the plan view, which is much easier. Okay. So we're fine here. Now I need to add this part in this hole. So I'm just gonna add a point here so I can find it much easier. Yeah, so that's gonna be this part. So let me turn on the trace. Right. Okay, and also bring this part inside. Okay, that's fine. You may also want to remove this point. Great. So everything is fine. Yeah, I have another piece of hole here. Let's see. So let's go to first story. This should be this part. So I'm gonna select a point and bring it here. Also I'm gonna add a point, bring it here, and also bring this one back up. Great. You may also want to merge these 2 points. Okay, then I have to move this wall back, so that's fine. Now let's disable the trace. Next thing that I'm gonna do is to doors and windows. So let's start by adding a door here. Let's go to door and let me select a sliding door, which is located under special doors and sliding doors. I can select this one or even this one and place it here. Then I'm gonna select my door and stretch it across. Okay, this should be fine. Okay, so now that I'm looking at the elevations, I can see that I have to change the type of this door. So I'm gonna select another one. Let's see. Yeah, I guess this is looking closer to what I can see on the elevation. So I'm gonna select this one. Now let's go to ground floor and stretch the door. Make sure that this move node is selected. Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna select this node and the opening width, I'm gonna set it to 0. Now for the height of the door, I'm gonna change it to probably 280. Or even more, let's go for 300. Okay, so this should be fine. Okay, now let's select our door and change some of its settings. I'm gonna change the sides width to 7 and hit OK. Okay, so this should be fine. Now I'm gonna go to first story, select my slab here, and what I noticed here is that this part of the floor is actually a void. So we do not need any slab here. So I'm gonna remove it. Okay, this is fine. Now I can select this wall, go under Edit, Group, and Ungroup. Also, I'm gonna select this one, go under Edit, Group, and Ungroup. And bring down the starting point of the wall. So I'm gonna select this icon that is a stretch height and bring it up to here. Just to make sure that there isn't any gap between the walls. Okay, so everything's fine. Now I'm gonna select this one, and with the eyedropper I'm gonna select the settings from this door, go to first story, and or in fact I guess I don't need to get settings from this door since I have a window up in here. So let's go to first story and select our window. I'm gonna select the first one, this one without any frames inside, and hit OK. Then just place it here. Make sure that this is the same size as our reference. Okay, now let's go to perspective mode. I'm gonna bring it down, so I just select on my window, then select this icon and bring it roughly around here and just make it taller. I guess up to here should be fine. Okay, now I'm gonna edit some of these inside frames. So I select my settings, go to the sash options. You can see that currently I have 3 vertical panes and I have 4 horizontal panes. So I'm going to change the HV grid to an editable grid, and instead of 3 I'm going to set it to 2. Hit OK. Now that this one is editable, I'm going to select this part of the frame, select the move tool, and in fact I have to select this one in the middle, so I select this one and bring this one up to around here. Okay, this should be fine. Now let's go back to the settings. Now I'm gonna change the thickness of the grid. Let's go for 5 and 4. I guess this is fine. Alright, now let's go to ground floor. I'm gonna select this one. If I can in fact select it, so, and place it here. Let's go to perspective. Okay, fine, let's just bring it to the side. Okay, this should be fine. Now I have 2 other small windows here. So let's select the window again, and I'm gonna select this one. Make sure that it's all set to minimum amount. And just make it roughly the size of the window. Then I'm gonna select the settings from this one and just place it here. Okay, so let's check it out in perspective. Great, now I'm gonna bring this one down. Let's make it reach the floor, or I guess just a bit higher. And also I'm gonna set it to be as high as the door. Okay. Now I'm gonna select again the settings from this one, and let's go in fact in the ground floor and select this tool, that is inject, and inject it to this one. Okay, let's try again. Select inject and inject it to this one. Great. So now they're the same size. Now let's go back to ground floor to see if we have any other windows. So we have one in here. Okay, let's just draw it here. This window is gonna be for the open kitchen, so I'm gonna reduce its height. Okay, this should be fine, this size. I also have two other windows, one in here and one in here. So let's take settings from this one and just place it here. Then I'm also gonna place one in here. I probably have to increase the size of this one. So now let's go to perspective mode. Yeah, they're fine. Okay, we have another one in here. Pick the settings from this window and place one here. Ctrl D to move. Okay, I have two on top of each other, so I'm going to delete one and select this one and bring it up to here. Okay, next I'm gonna build this one and this one. So let's go to perspective mode. I'm gonna select the eyedropper and pick settings from this window. Go back to ground floor and make sure we have that settings. Let me go to first story. Now go back to ground floor and draw the window here. Now for this part, I'm gonna select the settings from this one and place one in here. Even though it seems like they were just part of a continuous window, but since I have my sections, I can see that there were two pieces of windows, so that's why I'm gonna make them as two separate pieces. So let's bring this one back in here. Okay, they're fine. We also have a door and two other openings in here, which I guess we're not gonna use those since I'm not gonna be putting my camera around here. So we'll be having a camera right around here and we can see this part. So I'm not really worried about placing doors in here. So I'm gonna skip those. Now let's go to first story. And again, all of these windows we're not gonna see. So I'm also gonna skip these two windows. Again, since I'm not gonna be seeing these, but since they are allowing light to come through the windows, so I'm gonna keep that in mind when we're going to add lights in our scene. Okay, I guess this is it for right now. I may just need to copy paste some of these windows to the first floor. So I'm gonna right click on this window, go move, and go drag. I'm gonna put it around here. Fine. Then I'm gonna go move, drag copy, and just put it on top of itself. Then I'm gonna right click again on one of those, and in fact I just need to click down in here so I can select this elevate, and I'm gonna bring it up in here. So this should be fine. Okay, now let's check the first story. Fine, now let's go back to perspective. I'm gonna also select this one, right click and move, drag a copy, and I'm gonna drag it on top of itself. Then just click on one of these points and go elevate. I'm gonna bring it up right to here. Okay, this is fine. Okay, apparently since they're not on the same vertical plane, this window is not cutting through the wall, so I'm gonna delete this one and select the settings from that one and just place it in 3D. So this should be fine. Now let's select it, select this point. Then I'm gonna select this one, that is drag, and press and hold down shift and match it to this one. Now I'm gonna select this one again, this time select the elevate and make sure that its starting point is the same as other windows. So now this is fine. We also have one in here. Since I'm not sure that this one's gonna cut the wall or not, I'm gonna use the eyedropper to pick the settings from that one and just place it here. Alright, now let's match its position. Okay, this is fine. Now I'm gonna select the elevate tool and just make it match the other windows. So I guess we're fine. I could possibly bring this part of the slab to the end of the wall. So let's go back to first story. I select my slab and yeah, this is I guess fine. Now let's make sure that I can see the story behind. So I'm gonna select this slab and bring it up to here. The same goes for this part. Let's go back to perspective mode. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I can also extend it from this part, but again, I'm not gonna worry about this part since I'm gonna create a bookshelf that goes to from the floor to the ceiling, so that should be fine. The last remaining part is the stair. Let me disable the tracing. Okay, so I'm gonna select the slab tool and make sure that is set to rectangle mode and just draw one in here. Fine. Then I'm gonna select and draw a rectangle this size. Great. Next I'm gonna measure this distance, that's 30. Okay, so I'm gonna select my slab again and draw a box this size. Okay, fine. Now I know that they're all on the ground, so I'm gonna select this slab and just bring it up. I guess up to here should be fine. Let's set this one to be 200 and this one to 183. Next I'm gonna select this one and just bring it up to this part. I'm gonna type in 17 and I'm gonna select this one and bring this one up as well. So I'm gonna bring it here and set the thickness to be 17, or in fact I'm gonna put it up in here. Fine, now let's go to first story. Okay, now let's go to ground floor. I'm gonna bring down the height of this one, then I'm gonna edit this one in Studio Max. Okay, now I'm gonna go to first floor and select my slab, bring this one back in here and also this one to here. Okay, so then we'll be building the stair in Studio Max, since that one is much easier. Okay, so I put a couple of minutes to figure out how the stair was drawn, but I cannot see how this one's going up to the next floor. You see that we have also a door here, and I guess this is what happens when you give your plan to be drawn by a dumb person. So I'm gonna leave it as is. I'll probably fix it in Max, but eventually we're not gonna see that one anyways. So our last step would be to draw the roof. So let's go to first story. I mean, I can just draw a slab like so, since we're not gonna see that. But if you wanna be a little cleaner, you can trace out the walls. I'm not gonna include this balcony area, since again we're not gonna see that one. Okay, now let's check it out. Select this one and bring it up. Okay, I need to get rid of this part, so let's go to first story and okay, now I need to bring back this part. Okay, now let's go to perspective mode. Great, so everything's done. So I guess we can continue in Max. I will probably go and build the other part of the house, but again, they're not needed, but I may put some time to figure out the stair. And yeah, that's basically it for this part of the tutorial, and we'll continue in the next lesson. Before ending this part, I also wanted to show you that how you can export your object from ArchiCAD to Studio Max. So you have to go under File, then I'm gonna go under Save As. Then from here you can specify the folder that you want your file to be saved in. Then under Options, first of all you have to make sure that you have Studio Max selected. Then when you hit Save, there are a couple of options which from you have to choose, and I'm gonna use the ArchiCAD objects native output, and under the drawing unit I'm gonna set it to 1000 millimeters. So that's it. Then I'm gonna hit OK. So it will be exported to Studio Max, and in the next lesson we'll bring it in Max and continue to make the rest of the building.